What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in. We have the APAC Own Equals Treason hat that just was released, blackpillmerch.etsy.com. We have part 2 of Maga, which is Make Israel Great Again, versus America First. What better can you ask for? Part 2 of the debate, Walk Away Campaign are the ones that are doing these debates. Last week they had Millennials versus Boomers. I would suggest to go check that out. But let's get it started, y'all. It starts off, I believe, with Epstein and this administration and their cover-up for it. Enough talking. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you are tuning in from Instagram, X, or TikTok or YouTube at JBReacts916. I appreciate all of the new followers I've been getting on Instagram this past week. I think it's 2,200 last I checked. Let's keep on growing. Let's keep on pushing the truth. Let's get it.
Donald Trump has talked about the DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump.
Everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know.
Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed. These two right here are utter slime balls. Both of them ran for like the year and a half before Trump was reelected, saying, we're going to take out the deep state. Don't believe anything in regards to Epstein. We're going to expose all the pedophiles and all the corruption in regards to the Epstein files. And the minute they get into these positions of power, they cower down and cover it up. Especially Dan Bongino, I have a huge issue with because I used to watch him like every day. Now I can't even stand looking at him. He's so fake.
Himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
So the two of them, they came on, and I don't know if you remember the interview, and they said,
I'll never forget it.
Yeah, and they said he definitely killed himself. We can't tell you how we know that.
Yeah, they never told us.
If you saw the evidence that we saw, then you would also come to the same conclusion. And people are like, oh, well, they said it, and that's it. And I said to myself, hold on a minute. I'm a lawyer here, okay? So you've just told us that you have actually cleared every potential suspect. You have the exonerating evidence that says that nobody's guilty. Now, if you were telling us we have a suspect, we can't tell you why, we're building a case, I would say, okay, let's wait and let's see what happens. But you just told us that there's no case. So why can't we all know why you're so convinced?
Dan Bongino quit the FBI after less than a year and immediately went on the attack against any conservative who criticized him for inaction in the FBI, including blocking countless followers who expressed their disappointment with him. Many on the pro-MAGA side have praised Cash and Dan and Pam for their performance and attacked people who criticized them.
I actually think Epstein's still alive. I'm curious what you guys think. I'm reading from Instagram. He did not. People have literally come out and seen him in Israel with his bodyguards. Yes, I saw that. Did you guys see the video apparently of Epstein with bodyguards all around him in a different country? And Ghislaine Maxwell, I think, is free too. It's so easy to body clone people or just to do a psyop. I mean, Trump was a huge psyop on the American people, and we fell for it. But at least we're calling it out now. But I wouldn't put it past us that they don't have the capabilities to clone people or to rush people out of a prison without telling the public the truth.
Given that so many people fought for Trump to get in, to fight weaponization, to give people transparency about government corruption and cover-ups, why are the people who are demanding these things now being labeled panicans, doomers, black pillars, and traitors?
I feel like the Epstein debate has already been totally played out and had out.
To start a podcast with Riverside, all you need is a concept and a way to record it. Here's how.
And everybody's kind of reached their conclusions. I don't really know how much wiggle room there is for people on that or convincing there will be. And I think it just boils down to this. Do you believe Epstein killed himself in that prison cell?
No.
And do you think that Jeffrey Epstein was just some wholesome guy that liked having pizza parties with grape soda and a beef jerky enthusiast? You either believe that stuff or you don't. I don't really think there's any much more room for debate. Now, as far as the people that Trump brought in, that they also seem to think that there was some there. I mean, Pam Bondi's statements speak for themselves, and she said many of other things as well about the Epstein client list. And now all of a sudden we're told that none of it exists. It's just Jeffrey Epstein. He just happened to become a teacher's aide and then a billionaire, and then he owns these islands. He's got all these security deals.
Yeah, they say that Jeffrey Epstein only trafficked kids to himself. That makes absolutely zero sense, and no one in the public is buying it.
He's got access to the top people in the world, but there's just no there. He just happened to like little kids. So you either believe that or you don't.
Well, and it also required an act of fucking Congress to get the disclosures that were promised by Trump on the campaign trail. And by the way, that is the primary reason that they're going guns blazing after Thomas Massie, is because he was responsible for passing that bill along with Ro Khanna.
Love
That is the
Thomas
reason that
Massie.
The Epstein financier class is funneling $25 million to try and primary him, which will make it the most expensive primary.
Yeah, actually, up to current date, I believe they spent $30 million to get Thomas Massie out. And Thomas Massie is literally the only politician that is fighting for us, the people. That's my opinion.
In GOP history in the House.
But the point of this segment and the point of the question is that I think that despite how anybody feels, it's weird. I think the handling of Epstein by this administration is weird. And it seems like to simply acknowledge that it's weird is getting people labeled, panicans, and people are now suddenly going along with this whole, like, shut up, move on, stop talking about it. That's not really what people were saying.
Brendan, a few things. Owen, there's more to discuss than just saying you either believe what I believe, which is what you're saying. You must believe that Jeffrey Epstein was raping little kids and that the code words are grape soda, beef jerky, pizza.
Yeah, pizza. It's code word. Pizza and hot dogs. We already know this. I hate when people try to play stupid. And then remember, this is the Maga crowd, or Make Israel Great Again crowd. Pizza is code word for pedophile use. That's what they used in the Epstein files. It's very clear if you just read them.
If you don't believe that, then you believe that Epstein's a wholesome guy. I think that's not how you really do evidence, and that's not how you take
Wait,
it
hold
to
on a second.
court.
So, but
That's not how you do evidence.
We're not denying that Epstein was a pedophile, right?
That's not how you do that.
But
you have
hold on.
discussions
We're
about
not
it. 'Cause
denying he was a
you
pedophile,
just
right?
said,
I
you
haven't
just
seen
said,
evidence of prepubescent.
you just said,
Oh my
you
God.
just said, it's
He is
either,
banging mine.
you said there's no nuance.
I've never seen evidence of that. They've all been post-pubescent.
So now Epstein is not a pedophile?
I don't think so, no.
Was he? Do you think he was an asset for intelligence?
There's 32
pervert.
states that have the age
Rich
of
guys
consent
were-
at 16 years old, by the way, Owen.
This is amazing. See, actually, this is a very pivotal moment. This is where MAGA is out.
No,
This is where
not
MAGA.
where
No, hold on.
This is
Hold
where
on.
MAGA
Hold
is
on.
out.
Hold
This
on.
is
You
where
don't get
MAGA
to.
is out. So I say have at it. Defend Epstein. The stage is yours. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Do you know why you unfollowed me? Because I
Yeah,
corrected
let them talk. They look stupid right now defending Epstein. Let them talk.
you and run facts about Epstein, and you got upset.
No,
and
actually, you unfollowed me because you tried to blackmail me.
No.
Yeah, you tried to blackmail me,
I tried to
Linda.
blackmail you
You
after.
did. Yeah, you did. You tried
Who
to
is this
blackmail me.
woman?
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah,
I tried to
that's
blackmail
right.
you after.
That's right.
No.
the time.
First,
Wait, are you admitting you blackmailed her?
Yeah, she
oh,
did. She is.
absolutely I am. You think Mossad is bad? I'm fucking worse.
This is utter embarrassment. I don't even know who this moron is right here. Now I do. I looked it up today on X, and it's I forgot their account. That's how irrelevant this woman is, but she is getting dogged on in the comment section. But this is very hard to listen when this clown of a woman, and I'm sorry to say woman because I should just say this moron is in this debate, and I don't know why.
Owen, guess what? I corrected you one time and I said, you got the dates wrong. And what did you do?
On what?
You're protecting pedophiles.
On what?
I corrected you.
What
On some wrong, I don't remember the exact thing. It was some wrong stuff.
So,
and I
okay.
said, no, I said, Owen,
So
that's
you
not what
believe that-
happened.
so-
This is what happened because I
Epstein
have
was
read the
having
fucking
pizza, grape
files.
soda, and beef jerky. That's what you
Probably.
Okay, so there
Probably.
it is. So there it is. You believe it.
Okay, are you going to take
And
that
if
to
you-
court?
and if you have a
think
kid-
that's evidence
and
of
if you have a
pedophilia?
kid
You're going to
with
go
a
and say,
phone-
hello, FBI. This is the evidence that I have. Grape soda mentioned 1,000 times in pizza.
Yeah, so
That's
you
the
believe
evidence
that.
you have?
So you believe if you
That's the
look
evidence
at
you
your
have?
if you look at your kid's phone, hold on, let me say this. If you look at your kid's phone and your kid is talking about pot
Owen, tell
and
me.
grass,
No, I
what are
already
they
know
talking
this
about,
analogy.
Linda?
I already know
What
this
are they
analogy.
talking about, Linda?
Why don't you tell me?
She's playing stupid because she knows if she admits it, that means there has been a big cover up with this administration. So she's trying to deflect and change the subject. And I don't even know where she's going with this. She sounds stupid right now that anyone in their right mind can defend Epstein or say that he wasn't trafficking, little kids to all these global elites when the Epstein files has already exposed that. I mean, the ex prime minister of Israel, I forgot his name. He's all over the Epstein files.
Talking about?
Started.
Are they talking
I
about
don't really
pot,
give a shit
or are
what
they talking about weed?
I
They're
don't
talking
really
about
give a
drugs
shit what
right
they
now.
talked about. Did they rape the kids or not?
Yes,
You
kids
can't
were
rape
raped.
that.
Absolutely.
No,
Okay.
there's
So
photo evidence.
Like, you know,
defend Epstein. Take it away, guys. Take it away.
No. Tell me how the
Take it
case
away.
Well,
started.
hold on a
All right,
second.
I
Hold
wanna
on.
ask
Given this
If you're an
ultimatum,
expert in the case, tell me
Josie,
how.
go ahead.
All right. I want to say, so the issue people are having is the word pedophile. I think it's like hebophile or something when you're attracted to kids in a certain age. So it's a semantic argument. But I do want to say that even if the age of consent is 15 or 16, wherever it is in the United States, trafficked children cannot
A lot younger
consent.
than that.
But didn't Pam Bondi herself say
they use good-looking women to reel in these kids with their parents, and they get the parents to trust these people, and they leave their kids alone thinking they're going for this model agency or like a TV show or something, and then they traffic the kids. Literally, that is how. What's that movie called about the child trafficking? The Sound of Freedom. They exposed how it's done already years ago. And that movie was based off Epstein. And Trump pushed that movie too and ran on releasing all the Epstein files. And now they're doing the complete opposite. So there's really there's no defense.
10,000 videos and they were all child porn on Jeffrey. So why are we even
And she said the
arguing?
things that she saw was the most horrendous things that ever exist.
And there has been.
But have you not seen the photos and read the files? There's emails, there's photos, there's video evidence.
Have you seen photos?
Yes. This is not a
Of
conspiracy.
children.
There's hundreds of thousands of pages. Have you guys not seen it?
The emails between Jeffrey Epstein and other people saying what they say are horrendous. There's one where a little girl is saying she loves Jesus and Jesus makes her feel safe, and they're making fun of this or.
Look,
okay.
I'm not defending Jeffrey
does that
Epstein,
prove
obviously.
rape and kill
But every
and
time
murder?
someone submits something as a tip or whatever, it's included in the files.
But that's
So
like
there's-
that's less
there's
than
infinity in the
that's like
files.
But no. So this is emails
The vast
from
majority
Jeffrey
are videos
Epstein.
and emails and photos, and we've only
And that
gotten
have been
10%.
submitted.
We've
Let
only
me just
gotten
say
10%
something.
of the files.
The elephant in the room is we all know what Epstein Island was. It was a Mossad operation because they felt like
That's
the
true.
left was getting too anti-Semitic.
I don't believe
so
that.
Mossad wanted to
Time out, because the left was getting too anti-Semitic, so now it's just the Democrats. This is a complete who's this dude? Oh yeah, he's the creator of the Proud Boys. I can't believe I used to back them up. No, it's both sides. It's very, very apparent that both sides of the political aisle, which is just a uniparty, are all involved in the Epstein files. Otherwise, if they weren't hiding anything, this administration, they would release it. But they're all in bed together, and that's why they're not getting released.
guys
I
like
don't believe
Clinton fooling around with teenage girls.
The teenage girls never even
That's
went to the
corrupt.
island. That's why
But
I
it
say,
hurt the left,
why doesn't
so I don't
anybody
care.
answer how the case started? I mean, you guys are the Epstein. So tell me how the case started.
Talk about the Florida case.
This
where you
is-
gotta-
The one and only case.
so the
Tell me
Are you
how the
talking
case
about
started,
the
Owen.
young girls that called because of the massages in Florida?
Tell me how the
This
case
conversation
started.
here is why this is an issue. It's because it's not what's Epstein is a disgusting person, and you can reclassify or argue about what he did. I don't care. I don't care how he died. The fact is, I think we're all glad he's dead, and I hope
Yeah.
more people are held responsible.
No.
For what happened.
No, we're not
But
doing
hold
that.
on, we can
sorry,
argue about how he
Yeah,
died
it's
in a
not
minute.
the end,
But let me
sorry.
make my point. Let me make my point first.
If he got
It
murdered,
doesn't matter to my point right now. That's my
Let him
point.
make his point.
My point is the timing of the Epstein saga is the issue I have with the Epstein saga. And I believe when Trump referred it to as a hoax, he wasn't referring to the Epstein saga as a hoax, but the timing of the Epstein saga. Very interesting. And I think this side of the room is going to be happy that I say this. Netanyahu leaves the White House, and the next day, Epstein becomes the biggest issue in the country. And then right after that is Operation Midnight Hammer. I think there's actually
Bingo.
a correlation to
Yes,
that. Now,
thank you.
I'm not
Yeah.
going down this road yet.
What
But-
you just did it.
I know, but because my point is irrelevant to that for a moment. The timing of the Epstein release is the scandal. And the reason why we're all arguing with each other about the details of Epstein is exactly the purpose of the timing of the Epstein scandal.
Because of the reason you just said, or what about the
I think there's a whole lot going on
It was
here.
used as
Because
leverage for Operation Midnight Hammer. That's what you just said.
Findergate was February of 25. That was 1 month.
If you want to go down the crazy rabbit hole conspiracy theories, I've even heard that we went into Iraq to actually find I forgot the term for it, the fallen angels, the Nephilims, the giants, as they're about to disclose soon. I'm telling you, we are going to see giants in our lifetime. That is crazy. And fallen angels, demons. I think they're coming sooner than you think. I'd say this year we're going to see some crazy shit.
By the way, that's a conspiracy. That's something that you guys fantasize about. That's not
Bindergate,
reality.
he just said he's on your side. Yell
That's
at him.
fine. And I disagree with Gavin
I'm on my
McInnes
side.
about
I'm on my side.
the
Wait, so
island
then
being
why
a
is
Mossad base.
so then why is Ghislaine in jail? She didn't do anything wrong. She didn't traffic anyone. She wasn't. So why is she in jail? Why don't we let her out?
Did you cover the trial like
I think
your friend
Epstein's a
House
bad
and
guy.
Habit did?
Giselle deserves to be in jail.
You should look into House and Habit's reporting and see what she did, because guess
she's
what? She got charged with
horrible,
one
her.
trafficking count. Where is the mass? You guys are saying that it's all these children that were raped. They wouldn't even admit. The prosecution wouldn't even let Virginia Giuffre, who was the poster child.
This woman's horrible. Again, I'm just going to say it one more time.
Epstein, testify against Ghislaine Maxwell. She got charged with one count of trafficking to Jeffrey Epstein.
Do you guys think
To
that we're
Jeffrey
being
Epstein.
told the truth about the nature of his death?
Yes, I believe it.
I think it was
You do?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So does that
Insane.
bother you that is coming from Trump's administration, cash and
absolutely. But the guy that you just showed with the yarmulke,
Let's not pretend that Cash also as well, for like the 2 years before he was put in his position, was saying that they're going to take down the deep state. He was the biggest cheerleader in regards to releasing the Epstein file. And the minute he gets in, quiet, crickets, nothing. And still till current day, nothing.
was hired by the Department of Justice to go in there and clean up.
Yes.
And his job was to stop weaponization. That was his role. And I think it's a perfect example of our split, by the way. He brought people that had been abused by the Department of Justice. Physically, he brought them into the office to give a face to the story. And he was told again and again, well, we can't do that. And I go, but it's Trump's administration. And he goes, not really. He goes, the DOJ is a holdover from decades ago.
Yep.
And so he ended up quitting. I assume that's what you were talking about on the podcast.
Yeah.
He ended up quitting because he couldn't make any headway in this swamp, in this sludge. So I know you're mad at him for.
But then why did Dan Bongino brag about doing historic stuff if the swamp was too big and bad and he couldn't get anything done? So that means that's a contradiction, and Dan Bongino, as I call him, Dan Vagina, lied to us to our faces.
Not draining the swamp, but talk to someone who's been there. It's a fucking nightmare.
Well, I agree, but this is where I guess my fantasies come into play. The reason I fought for Trump was to end that, and I think what makes it so bitter is you say, well, he's trying. Okay, well, let's say I believe he's trying. Well, guess what? It's not getting done. But you know whose desires are getting done? The foreign interests and the special interests. Nobody's going to stop them from building the AI surveillance state. Nobody's able to stop them from
So we're not
continuing
supposed to
go to war in the
compete
Middle East.
with China
But we
for
can't-
AI?
We can't drain our own swamp that was weaponized against our own people. So that's the problem.
I think first of all, it's better to lower the temperature. I think when it comes to Epstein, I think the handling was wrong. I don't think there should have been so much posturing, because then you have to stand on that, right? There can't be, 4 million or 5 million files. You're a month into the administration. Obviously, they're not able to comb through 5 million files in that time. So don't speak about something that you're actively pursuing, because you don't know actually what's in there and what's not in there. And I think and I think it's legitimate, a lot of these conspiracy theories that surround Epstein. And I think the handling was poor, but I think at the same time, Trump was the only president that released 2 million files. Trump was the president that did that. This didn't happen under Joe.
No. The reason these files were released was because of Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, and that is one thing that I will always respect both sides coming together and doing. This administration has fought every single step of the way to not declassify what Congress passed, and we can actually thank Congress Massie for that.
Biden. This done.
Congressional law, you're going to give him credit for
No, he released it
Never
before.
gonna get a better
He
swamp
released it
trainer.
before.
There has been so many releases.
He released them before, and to address Your
Yes, he
question about
did.
yes, he did. Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Go back in his. If there's like a
the
little
bill was
box
signed into
fact
law
check,
before
if there's a little
We've
box
been
fact check,
releasing
you go right
year
there
after year
in
after
the
year.
post. In terms of your question of like, do I think Epstein was a pedophile? I think he was. I don't think there's this mountain of evidence that backs that up. I think personally he was. And then in terms of him killing himself or not, I disagree. I think he did kill himself. I think Kosh specifically,
footage?
I think Kosh was specifically someone who was kind of like you before joining the administration.
And also, Cash Patel and Dan Bongino said they were going to actually release the actual proof of him offing himself, Epstein, that is, and they still didn't. They released it up until that very point. So until we actually see proof, we're not going to believe the trust me, bro, anymore.
Was like very much he didn't kill himself. If there was anyone that was like trying to find an answer, and he came out and he said he did kill himself, and so unless you can provide evidence that he didn't
His
kill
cellmate
himself,
came out this week
that he didn't.
saying that he killed himself.
Not the fucking head of the FBI.
So
the deputy
the-
director.
Like, why do we have to prove it and not them?
No, you can't. The burden of proof.
It's on them.
No, it's on
and,
you,
and that's what he
actually.
said. But I'm saying that's what
The burden
I'm
of proof is on the state.
No, you can't prove a negative. Like if he did
Yes, you can. You can show me the footage from the jail. Why did the cameras die?
The cameras died at that 1 minute. And it wasn't his
And the security
roommate.
guards fell
His
asleep.
roommate ahead of time. Didn't he die of COVID?
No, his roommate just came out and said
He had
that
two roommates.
his roommate just came out and said that he for sure killed himself.
What about the autopsy and what his brother said?
He could have said whatever, but House and Habit has been talking to him for years and been posting about it for years, and she got ahead of the New York Post, who's posting it now. And one of the things that he told her, which you guys don't want to hear because you've already convinced himself that it's a Mossad operation, they were raping kids, was that
Tell Monday what you need. We're creating an agent and naming him Tony. Now
Man,
let's give
she
him
is
context.
horrible.
I'm giving Tony access.
Jeffrey Epstein, while he was in jail, tried to kill himself the first time, lied about the roommate hitting him so that he could be moved to a cell on his own. And that's when he ended up killing himself.
But that wouldn't change how the suicide watch works at all. He still is on suicide watch, so none of that would change. But again, I think we have to get down to basics here. Okay. Did Jeffrey Epstein work with Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yes.
Yeah, that was his girlfriend.
Okay. Who was
No, that
Maxwell?
was his
Hold on.
girlfriend.
Who
That
was
was his
Maxwell's
girlfriend.
father?
Mossad.
Who was Maxwell's father?
Maxwell.
See, you shrug because you don't want to give the answer because it hurts your stance.
It doesn't hurt my stance at
It
all.
absolutely
Because-
does.
Because what does that
He's
have to do
tied
with
into
the-
intelligence
I'm sorry,
agencies
what does
up
that
one
have to
side
do
and
with
down the
case?
other.
But that doesn't prove anything, Owen.
What do you mean that doesn't prove? That's
anything.
circumstantial
That's
evidence.
Just, it's just,
Wait,
exactly.
do you know what
just said it. That's
circumstantial evidence? Do you know
circumstantial
what
evidence.
circumstantial evidence means?
Yeah,
That's not
here's
even
a guy. Here's a
admissible.
guy.
That's not even admissible in court.
Here you go. Here's your circumstantial evidence, okay? Here's a guy who's connected to the intelligence agencies up one side and down the other. He's also connected to all of Trump's attorneys, by the way. He got a sweetheart deal on that Florida case.
He didn't
and
get
then
a
he
sweetheart deal.
magically kills himself
didn't
in
get a
prison
sweetheart
with
deal.
no footage, no security
He was on
guards,
house
with a toilet
arrest.
paper.
He
Bro.
didn't get a sweetheart deal.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, he did. He was on house arrest.
Yeah, he did.
Am I able to talk, or are you just gonna fucking scream
ahead,
at me
go
the
ahead.
whole
No, I
time?
forgot
Am I
you
able to
did
talk?
that scene.
Are you able to tell me how the case started from the very
Go ahead.
beginning?
Yes.
Are you?
Girls
Tell me.
were recruited to go to his little massage
That's not how it
parlor in
started.
Florida.
You're not able to tell me, right? I'll tell you why. Because Governor DeSantis signed the law, changed the law of our state to please people like you guys. You know what it is to change the law of our state? Because they wanted more stuff to come out? Of course you don't know that, because why would you know that?
You're just
you don't know
wrong.
shit.
Okay.
No, I'm not wrong.
Wow, this woman
Governor
is.
DeSantis
You'll find out
signed
when
a law.
when
Governor
Acosta cut the
DeSantis,
deal,
okay, you don't want to
DeSantis
talk to
had
me.
nothing
You want
to
to
do
keep
with it.
interrupting me.
No,
Governor DeSantis signed a law in 2024 with
Hard
what?
to listen to this
Pull
girl.
up your phone. Somebody pull up the phone. He signed a law to get all of the documents that were in the Florida court that nobody had seen before, that only the judge is allowed to release. He bypassed the judge, signed a law, released everything from the
Just let her
files.
talk
And guess what?
the whole time.
Guess what we found out? You know how the case started, Owen? Girls were bragging, the teen girls were bragging at school about the money they were making from an old guy in Palm Beach giving them massages. They get
Nice.
into a fight because one girl calls the other one a prostitute.
Ooh, this
Her
woman's
mom
dumb.
finds out, calls the cops,
hard to
the
watch.
case starts. The girls were bragging about the money they were making. They weren't in the distress. They weren't saying they were raped and abused, because most of them, when the cops started their investigation, you know what they said?
I don't think Jeffrey did anything wrong. Some of them were getting their cars paid for. These are their own testimony.
Yeah, okay,
You're mad.
so let me just
so wait, so you're mad at the testimony that I read? You're mad at the testimony. You know what some of the girls said? They got cars, they got to travel, they got their college.
Yeah, these are not even
adults. You don't think
adults.
these girls know what the fuck they're doing?
Well, because some of the kids were actually paid, then it's acceptable, and that doesn't make him a pedophile. We know if you just look into the Epstein files, there was minors, kids, babies. I've done a deep dive. I'm trying to keep it very careful because I don't want to get my channel striked. But we're talking about child sacrifice. We're talking about skinning babies, kids, and wearing their faces. What is his name? Is Julian Assange and his WikiLeaks when the Pizzagate first got brought up, he exposed so much in regards to Epstein and Pizzagates combined. It is the same thing, and just to pretend like kids aren't involved and that she's acting like they just got cashed out and got more popular from it. It's so disgusting. What a disgusting human being this woman is.
I find it funny that you're leaving out the entire years-long investigation.
Enjoy.
I will enjoy it.
Enjoy this position.
I'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
I'll enjoy it. I made plenty of videos about it. What am I enjoying? The truth? You don't like the fact that I actually read the files? You don't like the fact that I'm quoting? You don't like the fact that
You're talking about the grand jury testimony from Florida.
Right. And you don't like the testimony.
Do you know why they reversed that?
You don't like the victim testimony.
No, but do you know why they reversed that? Because they broke the law. Yeah, they broke the law. They did not tell the deal to the victims that they were giving to Jeffrey Epstein. That's why he was rearrested. There was a years-long investigation into Florida.
That's true.
They brought the investigation. He was caught trafficking girls.
Julie Brown at the Miami Herald, a very corrupt institution, which I guess you guys are cool with it now, started to talk to the victims again, started an investigation, and got him in New York because they couldn't get him.
So Epstein's wholesome. He's an innocent guy.
I don't think he's wholesome.
No, everything you're saying could be true, and it's also a Mossad spy op.
I don't think he's a Mossad. I've never seen an evidence.
Mossad would have been the hero in this claim.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know what Mossad is the Israel CIA. Our CIA and Israel CIA are the ones that ran these blackmail operations, so they can control different countries. They can control the banking industry. They can control politicians. They even were able to Diddy was the music version of Epstein with politicians. I think they are all connected. They all have underground tunnels. They all do child sacrifice. They all pledge their allegiance to Satan. And unfortunately, some clowns like this woman who probably gets paid $7,000 a month from the Israel Zionist class, she's just going to lie. And she knows she's lying. We know she's lying. She knows that we know she's lying.
His girlfriend's dad was just the head of Mossad.
I was going to say, is that the one case where Mossad looks good and then to argue against
it? It's okay for you to support it. Mossad looks good.
Mossad caught a bunch of perverts.
Well, I don't believe it's Mossad. So because I don't believe it's Mossad, they look good.
Mossad organized this whole sex ring in order to bust.
No,
Bill
you made this up. You have no evidence of that.
Not just Bill Clinton.
You have no evidence of that, Josie.
Yeah.
Wait, can I just ask a common sense question?
I'm complimenting Israel.
Go ahead.
Well, why are you? See, this is.
I want to do it too.
This is Israel derangement syndrome.
Oh,
no
here
one
we
is
go.
talking about Israel, but she has to bring up.
No, I hate when people call you anti-Semite or Israel derangement syndrome. We are not specifically talking about Jews. We're talking about the government of Israel, who aren't even really Israelis. They are literally from different countries. If you look into who runs the Talmud, the Israel government, they're not even real Israelis. So we're not even talking about Israel people. We're talking about the government of Israel and the government of America. I hate both. I criticize both. And that doesn't make me an American hater. It means I just am a free thinker who can see what the fuck is going on.
Epstein has no connections to Israel.
Why are you bringing up Israel?
Epstein has no connections to Israel.
I never said that, Owen. But
so how is that Israel derangement syndrome?
To be fair, it was Gavin who just mentioned it, Mossad operation.
Oh, great. Well,
okay. Gavin, why do you have Israel derangement syndrome?
I would take maybe I don't know, to step back from not us, because I saw so much of that. I had a mental breakdown and literally had to call my mom, and I was like, I am now religious because I believe the fucking devil exists and it's within these people. But I'm like, just common sense. You have this guy, he somehow is connected to every model, politician, everyone around the world. He was kind of a nobody, and now he has all this money, all this power. And I'm like, you don't get to that place unless you are doing something inherently.
This game, you're not ready for it.
fucking evil with a
Just so
large.
you guys know, I usually don't stream off YouTube. This is where it was only at. Soon I'm getting the premium plan since I am finally qualified on YouTube at JBReacts916. It's just I got a strike. So one more week and I'm finally qualified for the better plan on YouTube. Let's resume.
Price tag on it, and it's like, come on, we've seen like the Sound of Freedom and all this shit. This is not a fake thing. Trafficking's like not a fake thing.
It's not,
There's
Emily,
a lot
but
of
that's
money
That's
for
what I
children.
said.
what happened.
Sorry to pause it again. Sound of Freedom. If you have not seen the Sound of Freedom, watch that movie. It explains Epstein to a T and how they bring in the kids, how they use the parents and get them to leave them with these people. It's all explained.
Say that you think, okay,
That's
but
not what happened in the
let me
States.
finish. To think organically, this guy's timeline did not involve being a pedophile or harming children or any of things is fucking crazy. And
I don't see any evidence of that.
Okay, I'm just confused because I thought
I'm
I've seen
okay
like
with that.
millions of
I'm okay
pages
with
of
that.
photos,
I don't see
videos,
any
and
evidence of
evidence,
that.
but
I've
apparently
seen
it
some of the
doesn't
emails
exist.
you're talking about, and some of the emails are just that.
Just had
So
a
what
girl
about Pam
sharing
Bondi
his
saying
home
that
for no
she has
reason.
the
He wanted
client
to
list
clean
and
it.
I'm just like, this is the
Or the-
only
the
thing
picture.
I don't
The pictures.
understand.
So she just
I
lied?
think that, I think, like he
So
said,
Pam Bondi lied?
yes, I think a lot of them got ahead. I do think that, and I think she was the wrong choice.
No, but did
I do
Pam
think
Bondi
that.
It's all
lie?
Pam
Probably.
Bondi's
So she lied.
cover-up.
She never saw a client list. She never saw the video.
Probably.
Are you a panicking?
The reason Dan Bongino lost and the reason he lost market share is because he talked a hell of a lot of shit to get himself.
We're going to skip the coming up so we don't miss that. But yes, Dan Bongino is an absolute clown.
For thinking that Trump made a mistake with Pam Bondi?
I don't know. Am I?
I'm asking.
I just
Because some of these people
Panickin's
were
called her
expressing
out
that
first, but,
before it was brought to light
well.
and called names for it.
Look, I'm going to say something else that, some people are going to like. I don't like the fact that Trump has met that many women in those positions of power. I don't think Christine Noem was a good choice for DHS. There are certain positions like Carolyn Levitt where I think, women does a good job when doing that. When I think of DHS and I think of the DOJ, I'd like to see men in charge, which we got now.
I'd like to see less women in debates. They're very
Well, wait,
loud.
I'm sorry, no one answered my question how this guy became a literal billionaire and was connected to everyone in the world,
Yeah, he's
and he
Jewish.
never did anything wrong.
He's Jewish, and Jews
Josie.
help each other out.
No,
right?
that's actually a really horrible argument because I'm
Josie.
trying to ask if he wasn't like trafficking children,
sold
which there's
weapons.
such
He
a
was.
heavy
Made a lot of
price
money
tag
selling
on.
them.
I think he was doing that for
Yeah,
the CIA.
well, that's true. He's what he did.
Josie, I'd like to hear your opinion about what Linda said about women in positions of power in the
Also, what he was making a good point there. Lex Wexner, he actually did a disposition in front of Congress and explained how the whole entire Epstein network worked. And it was transcribed and set up with the Rothschilds, who, by the way, were just hanging out with Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump in Albania, where they just bought their second Epstein Island with over, I think it was 1,500 underground bunkers. If a big event's not coming, why would they buy an island in a foreign area? It makes no sense to me.
administration.
I agree with Linda. I agree that there should be less women in power. I like Tulsi. I like Speaker. But when it comes to women in power, in powerful positions like leading the DOJ, it's a man's job. I'm sorry.
So women need to know their place too.
I get
They've
it.
done an
Women are
embarrassing
very
job.
good at certain types of things, and they're not as good at other types of things.
Women, shut the fuck up. Dinosaurs? Sorry.
Did you not get the memo about what you're supposed to wear to this thing? We're all hearing collars and stuff, and you're wearing. You got that big
I'm wearing
bug-shaped
jeans, so
scab on your.
It's like John Fetterman.
I
He's a
got
libertarian. He doesn't have to follow the
But
rules.
you didn't hear we're supposed to wear suits?
No, I didn't hear that.
Well,
But
Either way,
He doesn't listen to rules. He's a libertarian.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to. They don't apply to him.
On the topic of
I think libertarian is going to be the biggest voting base in regards to these next upcoming elections. People are done with the two-party system. I have voted for both sides. I would consider myself, I was hardcore MAGA before this election happened, and now you couldn't pay me to wear Trump gear. I criticize Trump and this administration more than anyone. I criticize the Republicans more than anyone, and I consider myself a Republican. That doesn't make me a jihadist supporter. It doesn't make me an anti-Semite. It just makes me a free thinker who is fair across the board, which is very rare these days.
podcasters and influencers, many identifying as MAGA, have denied that there is a legitimate splintering of the movement and saying that this is a false perception created by podcasters and influencers. But if this is true, the numbers seem to tell a different story. The top podcasters who have a dedicated message of praising the Trump administration, like Daily Wire, Turning Point USA, Dan Bongino, have seen their numbers decline. Notably, Bongino dropping from Spotify's top 10 to out of the top 100. Yikes. Daily Wire recently reported major staffing cuts. Meanwhile, critics of the administration like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and Megyn Kelly have seen soaring ratings on their podcasts. If the fracture in the movement isn't real, how do we explain the vast discrepancy in viewership of these?
People criticize Candace. I think Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith. I've even like Anna Kasparian, even though I think she could be kind of much sometimes. But I like how, I like how like she shows her emotion. She cares about innocent people getting killed. The Dodge twins, pretty much people who are not owned by the Zionist lobby and who are not scared to call out both sides. We need to be calling out the uniparty because it isn't a two-party system. It is a uniparty, and they don't care about us. They only want our taxes to fund wars and genocide. They don't care about less spending. They don't care about, putting more pocket money in our pocket or helping us with our economy or helping us with our streets and our bridges and our states and cities that look like third world countries. They don't want to help us. And so the sooner we, unite, the sooner we can start fixing real problems in America.
Podcast.
Dissent sells.
I do think the Bongino thing is a little different because he did his podcast for years, basically railing against the deep state. He gets into the FBI and basically does nothing. So I think that's kind of a separate issue.
He nuked himself.
As far as the MAGA division or coalition divide, I do think it's like hyperbolic that people will sit here and attack Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly and all the former MAGA people and then say, but there's no divide.
And it's totally backwards, too, because if you actually look at the charts, everybody who's been critical of Trump, in my opinion, telling the truth about Trump, their numbers are in the ascendancy. Everybody who's been carrying water for Trump, like Bongino, Ben Shapiro,
we have got to the point where literally anybody
sorry,
can build a
guys.
fully working app without knowing how to code.
Ads.
This is base 44.
Yeah, TPUSA, Mark Levin, down the line, all of them are falling off a cliff. So it's evidence that there's market demand for people who are going to actually be telling the truth.
And this is true in regular mainstream media and in our world, alternative media, because anytime there is a Democrat
I used to be a huge Fox News supporter, and you will never see me watch Fox News again. Mark Levin, Dan Bongino, Jesse Waters, every Fox News show I would watch religiously. Now you couldn't pay me to turn on that garbage. I actually have weekly takes now of Mark Levin where I'll post shorts of him saying something stupid and then my opinion on it. And a lot of people like those. It seems we're all in agreement that he sucks and he needs to enlist for the front line of Israel, that is, since he loves fighting Israel's wars.
The Republican commentators on social media, just Sean Hannity's of the world, their ratings skyrocket. When we have a Republican president, their ratings go down. It's because people want to tune in to hear the dissent. And so dissent is what sells. And the reason why Tucker is so popular right now, and Candace, even though I disagree with everything she says.
Candace has a liberal audience, by the way.
Regardless of her audience, but what she's
No,
selling
she doesn't.
want to buy.
Candace does not have a liberal audience. She has a free-thinking, independent audience with people from both sides of the political aisle. That's such a lie.
They
But
want to
hold on.
buy
Here's
the dissent.
Here's the key thing, though. Tucker Carlson on Fox News was the #1 nightly news show at the time. That was
Who was president?
That was while Trump was in power.
Tucker Carlson
2019.
was most famous during the Dominion issues in 2020. And
Okay,
he got sued.
he was still the
and
#1
he got
guy in
fired because of
2019
it.
when he was just.
But
when
that's why he was #1. He was saying the things that nobody else was saying. He was a dissentful voice in a sea of people.
Okay, but it goes counter to the fact that Trump was the president of the United States. Trump is currently the president, and Tucker is dissenting because he believes that Trump is off.
Trump was the outgoing president of the United States. Biden was the incoming president, and it was among the election dispute where Tucker made his name. That's why he left. No, when Tucker when he was at Fox, he was the #1 show, just like Greg Gutfeld is the #1 show at Fox right now. But Tucker became Tucker
It ain't the same
when
thing.
Tucker left Fox.
It ain't the same thing, though.
So you think this is a normal ebb and flow?
Yeah, it's obviously a normal.
Well,
Do you think that also applies? Because I heard you say something, and I think it applies, but I would like to know if you think it applies. I think that that's kind of how we used to see Trump, was anti-establishment.
Exactly. I made that point earlier. I agree.
But now I don't view him that way. I view him as the
Exactly. I agree with you. I said that point earlier. I said,
but even in his first administration, he still carried that aura.
Yeah, but that's what buried him. The reason why Trump wasn't a success.
No, they stole the election. That's what buried him. He won that election.
I'm not going to argue with you there. What I'm saying in 2016, the Trump administration in 2016 was less effective than the.
I think we have the election capabilities with these ballots to rig each side of the elections. I think they rigged Thomas Massey's election. Magically, the amount of ballots needed to push him over magically came in, and no one knew who this Ed Dork was until Trump, endorsed him. He didn't run on any campaign policies. He wouldn't even debate Thomas Massey. Massey showed up to the debate. He is actually fighting for the people, and he didn't have a $30 million AIPAC lobby, actually funding him. They funded his opponent. So, no, they rigged both sides.
Trump administration 2024 is because he tried to get along with the establishment and they buried him. This time around, he's balancing getting along with the establishment, but also bucking them where necessary. And I think it's a balancing act that made him more successful. I think if you look at his administration is much more anti-establishment than his administration in 2016, but yet he's getting along with the establishment externally, which is what's making him effective. I think it's a delicate balance. It's going to piss people off, but at the same time, we have results. And I think that's really the overarching thing of this administration is been able to get shit done in a very divided time. But
it's
that's
not divided. He's got the House, the Senate, the SCOTUS.
Yeah, but the House is not. But that is not a. If the Democrats were in charge and Nancy Pelosi do her little thing, everybody votes the same way. We have narrow margins in the House, so we have to get one or two Republicans that nobody's ever heard of from not voting against it just to become famous.
Yeah, but the margin's so narrow, and yet Trump is still willing to expend energy on ousting people who have been diehard supporters, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, trying to get Thomas Massey out of power.
Marjorie Taylor Greene voluntarily quit Congress.
You know why?
No, it doesn't matter why.
They were threatening her with the same
women
treatment.
shouldn't have that position.
They were threatening her with
another
the same
example.
treatment that Thomas Massey.
But Thomas Massey didn't quit. What are you talking about? Thomas Massey.
It doesn't change the fact that the dynamic was the same.
The ousting means like forcing someone out. She left.
So it's Bongino.
Dan Bongino, I don't know him. I've never listened to him, so this is not from a fan perspective.
He's a bum.
Wait, you said Dan Bongino's a bum?
We can have this conversation.
Hold on. Now, you can criticize Dan Bongino. The dude walked away from millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to serve making maybe $200,000 and to come back
Jupiter,
and have to fight for ratings because he left the market.
Don't talk shit. And
That's not a bum. That's a public servant. And he was in the Secret Service before that, defending the country. That's not a bum.
What is the point? They're popular.
I know you guys can't see comments from Instagram, but I'm also doing this on Instagram as well. And someone made a good point. I'm going to read it. They said, I have to keep a Republican on my voting card until after November, trying to vote for James Fishback. 100% support that. Kate Love 12. Yes, love James Fishback. And because I hate Randy Fine, I'm voting for Dan Bilzerian. I actually really like Dan Bilzerian. I know people don't like how he has no filter, but I like some of the stuff he's saying. Curious what you guys think, though.
And people listen to them and people agree with them. I listen to
Sorry, it's a long ad.
I would say if I have to listen to politics,
don't you?
yeah, but I also listen to Megyn. If I want information, if I want to know what's happening, I'm going to listen to Megyn Kelly, and I think Matt Walsh is the best. I mean, he's very into his own bullshit, and it's great. But I'm sorry, I'm not listening to Ben Shapiro. He clearly has such an agenda. I think he cares way more about Israel than he does the United States. It's very negative to listen to. I feel like it's almost like anti-American sometimes. And I just think they're popular because people listen to them and they resonate with them. Maybe there's people like hate listening to them too, and that's a lot of their views. But I'm like, they're popular for a reason, and you can't deny that. In the next election, their voices are going to matter a lot too.
David, there's one thing you just said that I do want to push back on a little bit, and it's only because I think that
Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Dave Smith, voices like that are the number one reasons that Trump got elected this go around, and Charlie Kirk. And as you know, Charlie Kirk was having his awakening before, Israel and our CIA took him out. And they couldn't have that because Charlie Kirk had the youth on his side. And it's so sad how they've handled the Charlie Kirk assassination. And they act like Candace Owens is this demon for asking questions about her best friend's assassination that the world saw. And all they're doing is the Zionists attacking her, when in reality, there's a cover-up happening and they're saying nothing about the cover-up. So it pisses me off how they've all gone against Candace Owens just for asking questions.
Risk of you not being neutral?
Well, I don't know. I don't know that
Brandon,
it betrays.
move your chair a little bit. Over.
I don't know that it betrays any position in particular. I think it's just a point that applies in general, which is that when somebody makes a decision to go into either an elected office,
damn right, never stop asking questions. You were right, my friend.
Or something like a high-profile appointment, like director or deputy director of the FBI. They're going to go on for the rest of their lives to sell books, to have
But he was already doing that.
speaking tours. Nobody is sacrificing by taking a position.
I think Dan Bongino sacrificed a ton.
Brandon, yes.
I think
Because he was already
I think ultimately that's going to be true, but I also think that you're correct. It's like, look at how many people go from the administration into the media. Look at how many people go into administration, into the lobbying agencies. But in Bongino's case, he definitely lost. I mean, he's still richer than.
100% agree. I'm going to read that too. Candace Owens is an absolute angel of God's voice demanding righteousness. Yes, love that, because all she's doing is asking questions. Like none of Charlie Kirk's friends, quote, quote, are even asking any of the questions. And look how much Candace has exposed about the cover-up happening. Why did they cover up the assassination where it happened literally the day after it happened if there wasn't a cover-up? Why is Donald Trump Jr., who was supposed to be one of Charlie Kirk's best friend, also so damn quiet? Same with J.D. Vance. We know why.
By all of us.
Let's be clear, though. The reason Dan Bongino lost and the reason he lost market share is because he talked a hell of a lot of shit to get himself into that position of power. And then once he got that position of power, he didn't deliver. And now his reputation is fucking wrecked.
Deliver to your expectations.
But
deliver to what he was supposed to do with
it. Ain't just me, sweetheart. Look at the numbers.
Hang on, but on that same argument, though.
That's media. That doesn't compare to what he did internally in the FBI. And again, I'm not a fan of his. I don't care for him.
That's based off of public perception.
If he did a lot of great things at the FBI, don't you think people would be interested to tune in?
I agree. People like Kosh, Dan, were talking about the Epstein files. They got there. And they said, I looked at the files, there's nothing there. So do you want him to start lying to his audience now and be
No, that's what they are doing. They are lying.
But that's because you guys believe that. But they're the ones that saw the evidence and didn't find anything.
Bring it back to the question on these people. It's like, take the example of Candace Owens, for instance. Candace has bigger audience than she did 2 years ago. The reason is now she sells like bullshit conspiracy theories that anyone who wants to watch, it's like watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. It's like, what is
Candace Owens is like Keeping Up with the Kardashians? No, that's not true at all. And they can never, they'll take like 1 5-second clip that has like a 30-minute monologue and take the worst sounding bit and then be like, look, she's crazy. That's all they do with Candace.
And it's a soap opera. What is Candace going to talk about today? The Egyptian planes?
Gain a lot
that is true.
Or the bee cult in Utah run by communists. It's like, anyone, like, conspiracy theories are really interesting.
She's created a soap opera.
And people love buying into them because they're interesting and they're weird and they don't make sense and you want them to.
So now you're calling people weird and dumb because we listen to Candace Owens. That's a great way to continue having, a platform where people are going to tune in, is to call them dumb.
And so you tune in for the other episode. That's why every time at the end of her episode, she goes, wow, I found really big evidence. Make sure you watch tomorrow.
We're getting close.
5 months ago, she said that I have the actual documents that a French Legion working for Mossad wired $2 million to the army, the military, to kill Charlie Kirk. It's been 5 months. We still haven't seen these documents.
Go back. She said last year before his death that she had evidence that RFK, Kennedy, was engaging in Israel, of course, was blackmailing RFK. And she had this whole thing with Ian Carroll, never provided it. 3 episodes, LinkedIn House and Habit, Jessica Reed Krause basically alleging that she was somehow involved with this Mossad operation. Never happened.
Did we solve those Egyptian planes?
We never solved it. Egyptian planes, the Ukrainian.
There were Egyptian planes. There is a connection there.
What happened to the Egyptian
So is she
planes?
politics or is she entertainment?
She's entertainment.
Okay, well then there you go.
In terms of other people, like Megyn Kelly has like 1/10 of the views that Ben Shapiro does on an average video.
1/10? She is 1/10? No, actually, she's a lot bigger. Ben Shapiro's been losing people every week, thousands per week, by the way. And I don't support Megyn Kelly because she was one of the only outspoken people that still till current day, even recently, defend and say that Pizzagate was a conspiracy theory, when in reality, it is Epstein.
In terms of Tucker Carlson, he tweeted this out himself. He said, my ratings have gone up by 300% outside of the US. I'm sure Pakistan would love Tucker Carlson as president. But if you look, and there's been polls by basically every single polling outlet, Tucker Carlson is like -40 amongst Republicans. Trump is +40 with Republicans. If you look at each issue line by line, you will see that Republicans overwhelmingly think that Trump is doing a good job. His voters think that he's doing a good job. And so in terms of the divide, I agree. At the top of the podcaster class, I fully agree that there's a massive divide amongst podcasters. Right. In terms of the average voter, the average American who voted for Trump, there is not that same divide happening. And it makes sense. The incentive structure is different. 401ks are through the roof. They're higher than they've ever been before. If I'm a voter and Trump's president, I'm gonna be like, I like that. If you're a podcaster though, the incentives isn't to be like things are going great. It's to engage in conspiracy theories. Right. It's to engage in demoralization. So we also have to think a little bit about the incentive structure here on who is tuning in. I mean, Tucker has Cenk Uyghur on to talk about it. I mean, this is someone who said, buckle up, white Christians, your time is done. And so, yeah, he probably has an increased audience from people in Pakistan and communists.
Want to start a podcast, but not sure how?
People are pathetic.
Riverside has got you covered. First.
And have you noticed, by the way, this whole discussion has been very one-sided in that it's been a total audit of all of Trump's sins and all the terrible things he's done. And you guys bring up his mistakes and we sit here trying to defend them. But I don't think it's fair that we haven't had, 5 hours of talking about how awesome Trump has been.
But the topic is the MAGA divide.
I understand. And it just, the takeaway is going to sound like constantly defending Trump, but in true equal discussion would be his foibles and his accomplishments. I'm not criticizing you for doing this. I'm just saying that if you were just to land from outer space and hear this, you'd think this Trump is a screw up.
Yeah, great point. Yes, every week, every other day, it seems like there's a new deal being made, and then Israel bombs a different country, and then Trump threatens Iran, and then they just go in circle after circle after circle. Yeah, I mean, I think I've heard at least like 10 plus times that there was a deal made and then Israel breaks the ceasefire deal.
Well, like Obama created this pall of hate in America where we're all racist and the land was stolen from the Indians. And what it did to the American psyche was just make you feel like shit walking down the street. More racial hatred, black on white violence increased because they wanted revenge.
1619 Project.
I think you give Trump way too much credit for the cultural shift. Like, we won that war largely through those podcasters, which you guys now hate. Like, that's how, and Ben Shapiro even played his role. I'll give him credit for that. The woke mind virus was defeated by the free dialogue and debate.
Elon buying X was huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
But there's something big here though that's worth talking about that kind of ties this all together. And because a lot of this is I'm mad at Trump because, or this is why I'm getting off the Trump train or whatever it is. But at the same time, all of the things that everybody wants from Trump, the Christmas gifts they didn't get to open, were things that Trump would accomplish if he could. And we're saying, well, why can't he? So the real solution to this is exactly what I said at the very beginning, and that's this November, because if he's not getting the votes that he needs to do the things that everybody wants him to do, that is the most action we can have. And what I would love to see from the entire movement is us demanding that the things we can touch, and that's our local politicians that we can actually replace much easier than you can the president, is holding them accountable for not voting for Trump. And so rather than getting upset with Trump for endorsing Lindsey Graham, get upset with the voters in South Carolina for not approving the primary opponent of Lindsey Graham, because Trump has no choice but to work with the people that the people elect. So this all doesn't fall on Trump.
Hold on. He endorses.
Yeah, but why doesn't that standard hold up with Thomas Massey?
Exactly.
I think it does hold up with Thomas Massey.
No, he's campaigning against Thomas Massey.
Well, because
he should.
It doesn't matter.
Why can't he?
Because he doesn't vote with the MAGA agenda.
Why can't he vote?
He doesn't vote with the MAGA agenda.
Okay, so Lindsey Graham is MAGA. So Lindsey Graham is MAGA. Thomas Massey's not.
Thomas Massey
voted against it. I'm just saying in terms of why Trump wouldn't campaign with Thomas Massey.
But there are reasons why they're not.
Yeah, there's no value to Trump to endorse Massey.
I'm saying Trump disagrees with those reasons.
So Lindsey Graham is MAGA. Thomas Massey's not.
Never. See, this is what you always do, Owen. So you're defending pedophiles or no? That is not the card. No. We don't think Lindsey Graham is MAGA. We don't think
Trump
Lindsey Graham
does.
is MAGA.
No, he doesn't.
Trump
It's a
doesn't think Lindsey
strategic
Graham is
move
MAGA.
to get things done.
Exactly.
He could get Lynch in if he
doesn't
wanted.
Exactly.
He doesn't like Lindsey Graham.
Then he
likes
could get
Thomas
Lynch in.
Massey, but it's not advantageous for him to go with someone who turned their back on
bullshit.
him.
The whole
and he
reason
has to go with this.
Hold on. It's
he
not
has to
tactical.
compromise.
Lynch would vote along with Trump on 95% of things too. The reason he backs Lindsey Graham is because they have the same fucking benefactors, and you know it.
That's not.
No, that's what
That's
you. That's what
It's
you
not
came up
Israel.
with.
What
So
evidence
Trump's
is
endorsed
that?
Lindsey Graham
What
because of Israel.
What do you mean? What evidence?
There is no
you have
evidence.
Lindsey Graham, you have Ted Cruz, you have a litany of other politicians whose entire lives are dedicated to a foreign country. Correct? Is it? Can we at least
That is not
acknowledge that?
correct.
No, I don't.
Here,
I don't.
no?
I don't agree with that.
You said the Christmas gifts that we can't have or we can't open or
Yes.
whatever. Well, that's
The Red Ryder BB guns.
That's the problem. We can't get the Christmas gifts that would benefit America, yet we can go to war whenever we need to, don't need congressional votes, no funding obstacles at all. You need war, doesn't matter. South, East, West, Russia,
Right.
Ukraine, you name it, we got war. Venezuela, Iran, Iraq.
No, I disagree.
Oh, Venezuela was a war. Venezuela was a war.
Can I respond to him?
What you're saying is just like you take like grains of truth and then you just start with that
This
and then
is
you
what
just
he does.
slap on.
I don't. Yeah, I do. I tell the truth.
This is what he does.
I
This
tell
is
the
what he
truth and I
does.
ask
He
questions.
lies.
I'm glad
He
we got
lies.
hold on.
He lies. He
I tell the
lies.
truth
He
and I
lies.
ask questions. They figured me out.
I think it's a fair
He
question, and I
lies.
want to answer it because it's a fair question. The things you've seen with using the war powers to engage in a military
So we
conflict.
are in war.
I said using war powers, engaging in a military conflict.
we would
I'm
have to
being
be at
very
war.
specific on the language I'm using.
Well,
It's the same thing he's actually done with bypassing the inability to do the things legislatively. He has 200 plus executive orders because Congress wouldn't act. And Trump has rallied the
Insurrection
Republicans
Act.
to try to allow these executive orders to become written into law. Very few of them have. His recess appointments, the Republicans are blocking him. So Trump has used as much executive authority as he can constitutionally
But is he
use. This happens all the
attacking
time.
John
How many
Cornyn?
cases? Hold on.
Is he
How
attacking
many
John
cases
Cornyn
has the
or
Supreme
Massey?
Court had to rule on because Congress has acted separately from Trump?
we'll see what happens with that because I think he's been set up by the Republicans to get impeached. if
I
I'm
agree.
honest.
Well, not
I think-
impeached, but I think the Republicans want to lose the House.
So you guys, if we're on the wrong side of this politically and philosophically, okay, so what's going to happen? Trump's going to end all the wars. We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to get the economy humming, and all of this is part of a big plan. And then we're going to win the midterms. We're going to get the deportations, and we're going to have a nice little. We're going to have a nice little political dynasty for a couple of years. Well,
Let's do it.
common ground. What happens? So, but here's the issue: what happens when that doesn't happen?
We're going to make sure it does.
But it's not, and that's the problem.
I'll give you an example, and Brandon, I think you'll like this. Is that
They don't want you to know about it.
Hey, did you know you might get a big cash payout if you were in a car accident up
Keep
to
it
1
ads.
year ago,
Sorry,
even
guys.
if you weren't driving?
you'll take one grain of truth. For instance, if we lose the midterms in 2026, you will say this is.
We're definitely losing the midterms in 2026. Like, it's going to be an execution style victory for the Democrats. I think there's just zero excitement. I mean, the boomers are obviously out voting, but all the young people, the younger, Gen Z, who are huge supporters, thanks to Charlie Kirk, he was a big help. They're gone. We don't want Israel-owned puppets as our politicians, and that goes for both sides. We are all awake more now than ever. The boomers, y'all can have your little arguments back and forth. I'm done with that. It's time we unite and actually fix the issues.
Proof that Trump has lost a coalition, that people aren't turning out to vote.
Yeah,
You know,
it absolutely is.
Okay. If you look historically, when you have a Republican president or a Democrat president, the other party typically wins Congress.
And we all know why, because politicians are liars, and Trump is another lying politician.
Dominated the
Bing!
conversation. You don't let anyone else get a word in. Are you scared of someone else talking?
Because you're proving my point.
And you
is
talk
what you're doing.
slow, so.
You're proving my point.
Are you going to let someone else speak? If you want to continue, continue.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay, so if someone loses the midterms, this is proof of something bigger. But if you look historically back, it is most likely, historically speaking, that the Republicans will lose this midterms. We've held the House for two consecutive congressional terms, and now we have a Republican as the president. So I'm saying you don't need to view everything as black and white. There's nuance to
But you
all
don't
of it.
understand. You just proved my point. They never deliver. And that's why they lose, because they never deliver. And Trump was supposed to be different, and he hasn't been. How is it?
Something
What are
stupid,
the
like,
metrics?
You fucking give me a chance.
But what are the metrics of a war, Gavin?
I'm not talking if you interrupt me again.
Well, you can't just say.
Yes,
if
I
you-
can. Of course I can.
So what is a war?
I'm allowed to say a thing.
Tell me what is a war.
Don't tell me what I can't fucking say.
drive our mission.
Well, and
to be
even
fair,
worse- even
the
worse than
conversation started with purposes, do marches, rallies, town halls, and debates.
I think Gavin may,
I'll look
may have
really
mentioned
stupid
that.
Apathy will hurt us in the midterms. Many things will hurt us in the midterms, but one of the many things could be losing you guys.
Yeah, well, then you could actually, there's obviously ample evidence that the Israel lobby has tremendous influence in our politics.
True.
Even moreover, Trump, who got $250 million from the Ailsons, who have said that their primary loyalty appears to be to Israel.
Don't forget what Trump said on the radio show a decade ago.
What was that?
That Israel owns Congress.
Oh, right. And he's now lamenting the fact that they don't anymore, or it's not as obvious as I guess it once used to be. So that obviously really frustrates me. And then for our generation, I think, I can speak for most of us, we recognize that we were lied into the war in Iraq. We recognize that the global war on terror was based off of lies. And I think most of us that are being honest about our analysis of the war in Iran have come to the same conclusion, that this is once again a war that's being fought on behalf of Israel. So we're now racking up more casualties, $25–50 billion so far. We're also paying an extraordinary expense at the gas pump, that being the primary input cost for economic goods across the board. It doesn't come without a cost. And it seems quite evident to people in my camp, I'll just speak for myself, that we are bearing that burden because of Trump's donors, because Trump he owes an allegiance to
Clinton, you just talked about 20 years of history going back to 9/11.
Yes.
And Trump has only been president for 6 of those 20 years.
Right. This is a pervasive issue.
But the thing is, you can't. So Trump
it's a
can't
both
be the
sides
reason
issue.
for all of these things, but yet you're giving him all the blame.
He's
There's been
he's
Republican
responsible-
and Democrat
He's
presidents.
responsible for the war in Iran. He's not responsible for the war in Iraq.
Hold on. The war in Iran, first of all, which isn't a war, it's a military engagement.
Come on.
It's not a war. Congress hasn't declared a war, first of all. And second of all,
How is it not a war? Declared a war
Because it's
in
not a
8
war.
years.
Because it's not officially a war.
It depends on what day. It depends on what day of the week it is and whether Trump calls it a war.
Well, no, but here's the bigger issue.
These are semantics.
Okay, but here's the bigger issue. The bigger issue here is
Yeah, there's been like 20 peace deals and it's like the next day Israel's bombing another country.
And Gavin said this, and I'm going to let him make the point because I hope I know where you're going with this because it's a brilliant point. Is what's going on in Iran has way more to do with being America first and making America stronger, making America great again. And it's a geopolitical realignment of where China gets its energy from,
This
where
is such
Cuba gets
Orwellian
it.
nonsense.
No, it's not because
we're going to carry
No,
on the banner and the legacy of the neocons, and that's America
Hang on,
first.
you want to take
I
20
really don't
years
respect that.
of
I don't.
geopolitical military engagement, blame it all on Trump, and then tie it
That's
to
not
Jews
what I
and
did.
Iran.
That's not what I
It's
did.
just you're oversimplifying.
He literally just said past administrations are to blame right now, but Trump are to blame, but Trump's to blame for the Iran war. That makes perfect sense.
A complicated issue.
I think you just don't understand the point that I made.
I understand completely.
He's making the point that Israel controls Trump and therefore Trump
Yeah,
should
but
on
how
behalf
can
of
Israel control Trump if you're talking about 20 years of history? And you can even go back, let's go back to the 1940s. If Israel's controlled everything, let's go all the way back to from World War II.
The neoconservative.
Who is Trump's biggest donor in this last election? Miriam Adelsons. They are Israel First Jews who run this show. They are at the White House the most. It's very well-known knowledge, not hard to find.
All the way to now.
And the Zionist movement precedes Donald Trump.
Is it possible, though, that Israel is very interested in what happens to a country that hates it? So, of course, they're going to lobby America to do things that they think is good
That
for
doesn't
their
mean I have to
interests.
like
And
it.
everybody,
No, you don't have to like
everybody
it.
does it. But
Saudi
it's not
Arabia
just
lobbied
Israel.
Trump too.
Everybody
But we're
loves
not
Trump.
going
That's
to
what I
war
said. You
on
don't have
anyone
to like
else's
it, but it's
behalf.
not
You know
your
what? The Gulf War, for instance, was because of Kuwait. We went into Iraq. Ariel Sharon, the current prime minister, actively was writing Bush saying, don't go in. This is not a good idea.
What was he saying to him, though?
What do you mean, what was he saying?
Give the second part of that. He was telling him to go to war against Iran.
Yeah, because the Israelis viewed.
So how much influence did they
exactly,
have?
because the Israelis viewed Iran as the
But you know
threat.
why?
Well, wait.
You know why? Because we said after Iraq, we'll go for Iran. So this is an issue that persists throughout presidency.
Yeah, but you just said that Iraq and like the Gulf War were because of Israel. The current Israeli prime minister at the time actively did not want the Iraq war. How can you even say the Gulf War was for? It was
Did you hear what I
because
just
of
said?
Kuwait. It was because of
I
Kuwait.
just clarified the point. If you don't understand it,
Do we think
Israel was
U.S.
actively trying to
U.S.
argue
foreign
against it.
policy has been good for our lives?
What about the JCPOA? that was one of the, I mean, AIPAC, the Israel lobby, poured everything they could to stop the JCPOA from happening, and it did happen. So is that an example then that
and
Israel
then Trump tore it up because he is
Trump tore it up because it was a bad policy for America.
How was JCPOA bad?
Because there were no sort of triggers or any checks that could be placed on Iran. Iran could,
they had inspections all the time.
You know, you ask questions, and then it seems like
because
you don't want to hear the answer.
You don't know the facts.
Is Iran allowed to be a sovereign country?
What are you talking about? Oh, and do you want Iran to get a nuclear weapon?
No. Is Iran allowed to be a sovereign country?
We're going back to this.
That's simple.
Oh my God.
So then why can't they have a nuclear weapon?
Oh, and 1 second, Kevin, go ahead, please.
Just because Israel likes what we're doing in Iran doesn't mean we're doing it for Israel. It's a
They
mutual.
literally said we're doing it for Israel. Marco Rubio, right after the war started, said we're doing it to protect our Middle Eastern allies. And then Trump, during a live interview, said the exact same thing. So I guess we're not going to take this administration at their own words. This makes this dude's a clown.
Gain for
Listen to
both
Marco
parties.
Rubio.
We're not doing it for Israel.
So do you think U.S. foreign policy has been good for the last 4 decades?
No, it's been a nightmare.
And so we all agree. There it is. So this is more of the same.
No, this
It's
is
not
not
more
the
of the
same. This is not a quagmire.
Oh, boy.
If this becomes a war, then I'm off the Trump train. If
How
we
is
do
it?
something
What are
stupid,
the
like,
metrics?
You fucking give me a chance.
But what are the metrics of a war, Gavin?
I'm not talking if you interrupt me again.
Well, you can't just say.
Yes,
if
I
it becomes
can.
a war.
Of course I can.
So what is a war?
I'm allowed to say a thing.
Tell me what is a
Don't
war.
tell me what I can't fucking say.
Tell me what
Let
is a
me
war.
say my sentence for fuck's sake.
Someone just started their period.
A war.
Shut the fuck up for 2 seconds, Owen.
Let him answer.
Jesus Christ, man.
What's up, y'all? I'm Percy Miller, Master P, and I want to tell y'all,
He's
social
so
media,
triggered
physical
because the
products,
facts aren't
digital
on your
products,
side.
It's the way of the
Oops,
future.
sorry, guys. I know
If you
that
want to
was
grow
loud.
your business,
Microphone.
log in right now with us. Me and Spectacular.
We went there.
See, this is what happens when people vote off emotion and not fact, because if fact and truth is on your side, there's no reason to get upset. Or they know they're really pushed in a corner with every topic because the topic is Trump ran on this and he's doing the opposite. So they're constantly having to, defend their stance on them going against what they ran on. And it's harder to do that.
We had a month
They
of
come across as
action.
dumb like
we
this.
lost 15 guys. We decimated their military. We prevented them from building a nuclear bomb. And right now, the situation in the Strait is great for the globalists. Lloyd's of London decides who goes in, who goes out. They control that oil, 25% of oil. Trump is smart enough to go, I'm going to make us the boss. We want to run the Strait. We want to be in control of that. So right now, and again, there's been no action for a month. That's not a war. There's a standoff going on
We were
right
just
now.
bombing them.
Their oil is dying. They can't sit in those tankers forever. So they're about to be out of oil. It's a major gamble. It's the biggest gamble I've seen in my lifetime. But if it works, then we run the Strait.
Has
We're in
gambled the whole
control of that
country
oil,
away.
and our fucking economy just goes through the roof.
Yep.
So what he's done is he's made a huge gamble, and you guys.
Yeah, Trump's has pretty much made the biggest gamble of our country's history, and it's either going to go very shitty or very good. That's what he's pretty much saying. That is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life.
Are already calling it a war and leaving after 15 American
Trump called it a
casualties.
war.
Well, it's not. He's wrong.
Okay.
What if it doesn't work
not a
then? What happens?
It could be the biggest success, the biggest
Could be.
brilliant chess move in the
Bro,
history.
if it was a success, we wouldn't even be in this war situation to begin with. The Strait of Hormuz was open to begin with, and now Iran is controlling it. This is such a joke.
Of
Every
America.
president thinks
Wow.
they can win this bet,
They picked
and
the
not
brightest
one of
ones
them
for the
has.
biggest
Can I say
hype.
this? And then I want to play off of your
We're
point.
already dancing on the grave of this failed attempt way before it's failed.
No, I just don't want to repeat history.
We're
that's
not.
failed us
This
so
is
many
what's
times.
different about
repeating
this.
history.
Yeah, but we're
It's
already
a
in the
brilliant
situation.
move.
You don't know that. You just said if. You just
Okay,
said
well,
if.
that's subjective then. We're talking about the future
And
here.
if it doesn't happen, okay, the missile capacity of Iran has been decimated to like 15% of what it was
Who
before.
cares?
The missile production.
I care.
We care.
They're responsible
Some of
for
us
10
do care. You may not, but we
I
do.
care.
No, I
They
don't.
killed
Great.
thousands of
We
Americans.
care.
I fucking care. They killed thousands of Americans, so I fucking care. They
So
can't
did
get to
Anthony
America.
Fauci.
They actively plot terrorist attacks against Americans all over the world. So personally, I do care.
Yeah, that I'm sure they're never going to build another missile because.
Get the
Hey,
vibe
go
you
ahead.
guys are
Yeah.
trivial.
By the way, Israel themselves has nukes. So they say Iran can't have nukes, but Israel has nukes. And why do they have nukes? And I always say this because they stole the capabilities from America. That is the only reason Israel has nukes. They don't let us do inspections where Iran actually did. Iran wasn't building nuclear weapons while Israel themselves has nukes. And Israel on 30 plus years, or Bibi himself on 30 plus years has been on record. I've done videos in reactions to this saying the same shit. They are 3 weeks or 3 months away from weapons of mass destruction. They show us zero proof, and then we go to war for it.
Utilizing terrorism too, like you go the global war on terror, blah blah blah.
David,
I think it was
you
a
know that
disaster.
Islam is at war with the West.
To the point about North Korea having a nuke, Iran, the Islamic regime of Iran, and I'm very specific on who Iran is because there's a lot of great Persians who want to take Iran back. So it's not Iranians we're at war with, it's the Islamic regime who the very first thing they did when they got power was declare war on America. So Iran has been at war with America since the late 1970s, early 1980s. That's the difference between North Korea, and I'm going to explain, North Korea and Iran. So the difference is Iran, the reason why we've been saying this, Owen, that we don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon is because they've been at war with us since the Islamic regime took power. Now, we talk about Sharia and the spread of
You're going
Sharia.
to start in 73 and not 50?
You let him talk.
So the issue is when you have a country that has declared war on you, that's actively trying to get nuclear weapons, that is funding proxy terrorist forces against the United States all over the world, and then getting in bed with countries that are way more powerful that do have nukes, it's a geopolitical shitstorm that we've been dealing with. Every war that you hate, that I hate, that we hate, Iran and China and Russia have been tinkering with. We have been fighting proxy wars with every one of our enemies for decades. What Trump is doing now, and the reason why Gavin says it's a gamble, is because we have the ability to economically crush every one of our adversaries without a single war. So when Trump says he doesn't want any new wars, what he's doing, oil and energy, like everybody says, that will prevent any war from ever happening again if we control it. Now,
I hope you guys are right. Let me
I
be
hope I'm
perfectly
right,
clear.
too. They're not.
I hope you guys are right. I just don't believe that that's going to be the case.
Well, you have to
this
believe.
is, but again, I'm looking at logical consistency here. You say Iran declared war on us.
They did.
When did Iran bomb us?
Iran, they
thousands
Exactly.
When
They
did
never
Iran
have.
bomb us?
They can't
They
bomb
bombed
us.
the military. So we're bombing Iran.
Exactly.
Iran,
military
so again, this is just
You're
logic. This
responsible
isn't
for the attack
policy.
on
This
US
is just
Capitol.
logic.
I'm
Hold on a
answering your
second.
question,
Hold on a
though.
second. This is just
They have
logic.
attacked us
This is not
repeatedly.
policy. This is
When
logic.
have they
Yeah,
attacked
so
us?
when we bomb Iran, it's not a war. When they don't bomb us, it is a war.
Yes.
Owen, is the definition, I'm confused. The definition of a war is whether you
It's
can
really
bomb
that
someone else. Is
simple.
that the position
It's
you're-
really that simple. They don't bomb us. They haven't bombed us. We've bombed them. We've bombed them continuously and allowed Israel to bomb them continuously and supported it with our taxes and our ammunition and our military soldiers. Crazy.
No, I
Would you say that's an act of war, bombing somebody?
No,
Yes.
because Iran declared
Okay,
war.
that's
on
what
America
he's been
in
at war
But
with
that's not a
Iran.
war.
They declared war on us when they took a bunch of American hostages during the 1979
And bombed the barracks.
Where did that happen?
And
1979, he said.
Tehran. Who cares?
So we
It's
were in
America.
their country. Okay.
Do you not care about? Wait, what? Wait.
Everyone's in
If an Iranian military installment was here and we took them prisoner, would you accept that?
Are you stupid?
Would you like that?
It wasn't a
Embassy,
military
It wasn't a
outpost.
military. What are you talking?
So again, war in the
Getting
Middle
a
East
debate.
ends up with
I
our
love
soldiers
Square.
getting held
You said it
hostage.
was a
Again,
military.
this is why I don't
Wait, you
support
said it was a
it.
military
I don't want our soldiers dying in the Middle
Owen,
East. I don't want
Owen,
our
is it a
soldiers being held
military
hostage in the Middle East. I don't want to spend more blood and treasure in the Middle East. It's
Was it a
blood.
military barracks that they kidnapped over?
Any single person that is for these wars in Iran, they should move to Israel and enlist for the front line. That's my personal opinion. If you're for wars, move there and fight.
40 Americans in 1979.
Yeah.
No, it was the embassy.
Okay, so what's your point?
You said it was a military barracks, that was an act of
No,
war. The
you
bomb
said that.
military
I'm saying I don't want any
never
troops in the
did say
Middle
that.
East.
I never did say that.
I
it
said
was
I don't want any troops in the Middle East. Do you want troops in the
It
Middle
was
East?
an embassy.
Do
It was
you
an
want troops in
embassy.
the Middle East?
It was an embassy.
Oh, wait,
Do
I
you
want
want
us to have
troops in
bases
the
all
Middle
over the
East?
world.
His answer
It
is
was an
absolutely
embassy.
yes.
Yeah, he
You
wants troops in the Middle
absolutely
East.
want
I don't want
Troops
troops
all
in the
over
Middle
East deployed fighting? No.
Okay,
No, but I want
beautiful.
outposts. I
Thank
want
you.
safe
We agree.
definitely want
We agree.
outposts.
military
Middle East.
bases all over the world.
Josie, I have a question for you. The libertarian point of view, would it be fair to say that you feel that Trump promised the libertarian base no new wars?
You're one sentence away from launching your website with Base 44. Since the beginning of the internet, there's never been such a
So
Verbatim.
That is the biggest thing that Trump ran on was no new wars. That's all we've had was wars and destruction and, not actually looking and helping America and fixing up our cities, fixing the drug epidemic, the homeless epidemic. We're going to do all of that. We're done funding it too. We're going to bring back American jobs. Trump did the opposite when it comes to all of that.
Yes.
right. Well, and we heard
He
it.
went steps further and said, I'm going to even get the neocons out, so that way it's like, I don't have any of that influence. I'm going to get the globalists out, so I don't have any of that. So it was not only that he promised us no new wars, it was that everybody that was working, the neocons, everybody that was working to make these wars happen, he was going to purge the administration of them. And that's that he bought us. You know, we
So the
trusted him.
Question that I have for you specifically is because they've laid out a lot of really good, solid reasons that could be beneficial to the United States for us getting involved in it. And I
Energy
don't
is
take any of
incredible.
that.
I hope you guys are right, because in order to benefit America, in order to get further in America, in order to make everything cheaper, we have to control energy. I understand that. I think this is a war, because if somebody dropped a bomb on America, it would be a war. Yes? Yes?
So if they killed our soldiers with roadside bombs in Afghanistan, you would call that a war too, right?
But why are we in Afghanistan probably killing their people for a lie and a fake news story, which is they have weapons of mass destruction. They are killing our people, even though we are in their country killing their people.
If Iran manufactured
If we were
roadside
in
bombs
Iran and they killed our soldiers?
in Iraq,
Why were
Iran
we
was
in?
manufacturing roadside bombs that were being used to kill U.S. troops in Afghanistan and
Yes.
Iraq. Would you consider that an act of war?
Us being there or them?
Yeah, why are we there?
Iran's role in
so
that.
our soldiers are somewhere overseas.
Regardless of where they are, if they're in Iraq, Afghanistan.
No, I think that's a pretty important. I think that's a pretty
but my
important fact.
question is it? You said bombs is an act of war.
Yes.
I'm asking, is it an act of war to manufacture a roadside bomb?
I am
that
America
killed the US
only.
soldier?
I
Right.
listen to
So only if they kill
Constitution,
somebody in
so
America.
If they invaded our borders and bombed our country,
Okay, so
that
only
would
if
be
they
an act
attack
of war.
America in America. That's an act of war. That's. I'm just want
What?
to understand your position.
You're going around my.
Let's go in this position. Israel, in the 50s, let me look it up. I'll look it up. I'll come back to that.
I apologize. What I'm trying to understand.
No,
is
if they kill
you
your
said
husband
bombs-
in the Middle East, is that an act of
No,
war?
I'm saying it. you
Why is
said-
my husband in the Middle East?
I don't know.
I'm just saying. in
Okay,
general.
But, no,
I'm
I'm just-
trying to like lay out
All right,
parameters, and I'm just getting.
Well,
like,
I think
I'll
these
let
are
you finish
important
your point. I
details. If my
That's
wife,
it. The USS Liberty, where Israel bombed and actually attacked American soldiers. What about that? Since you want to talk about Iran supposedly killing our soldiers, Israel actually did that. And there's a specific event. What event do you have where Iran has done it in recent time? Besides
is in
just
the Middle
hitting
East to
themselves?
go tour and eat food, and they kidnap her and kill her, yeah, okay, that's criminal. If my wife goes to the Middle East strapped with guns and bombs and grenades in a tank, they
the
might
only
consider
safe
that
way
a
to go to
national
the Middle
security
You're
issue.
rooting. I feel like in that case scenario, regardless, it was wrong to invade.
By the way, all of this is global. Just so we're all
shut up for 1 second.
No,
Holy
I don't.
Shit, dude, let someone
We
else
need
speak.
military outposts all over the world.
Here we go. Another Israeli. Here comes Goyven missile wanting the military against me.
We
But
do.
we do have
military
military
bases
all
in
over
Latin
the
America.
world.
Yeah, we do.
That's
and
good.
It's bankrupting us.
Josie, who are the war hawks that Trump was supposed to get out? And Lindsey Graham's voted in.
These
that
are
he doesn't
no. These
count.
are people within the DOJ, within the administration, the swamp.
Lindsey Graham, Randy Fine, Ted Cruz. Let's see. I could do this. Josh Hawley, who I actually used to like. They are all whoever has AIPAC as their number one donor. Every single person, you could start with that right there. And pretty much the whole Democrat Party, the whole Republican Party, Michael Johnson, Speaker of the House, get him the hell out. Even the guy before him, I forgot his name, Kevin. That's how irrelevant he is. Byron Donalds, who is running for governor of Florida, I cannot stand. Hope James Fishback kicks his ass. The polls looks like he is about to overpass him. So for that, and Dan Bilzerian as well versus Randy Fine, who Trump is endorsing. Trump is endorsing the swamp.
That we've all been talking about. Do you want me to like name their names?
Yeah.
I don't know. They're the swamp. You believe that there is no swamp because I can't name the people in the DOJ who've been there for 30 years?
You just said that Trump made a promise to
Yes.
the libertarians
To drain
clean
the
up
swamp.
war hawks specifically, and I'm asking you who they are.
They're in the
What other
DOJ for
names?
30 years. We've
Well, you-
addressed all
so you
this. You
can't
guys
name
have
them.
talked about
So
this.
do they
Can name
exist?
them.
Do they exist?
They don't
I'm sure they
exist.
exist. I'm asking her.
I
You're
need you to name them.
screaming
This
at
is
me.
the-
I'm
so they
asking
exist.
her.
This is illogical policy.
Who specifically she wants out? Is that a fair question?
Well,
Owen?
once they start
Is that a
getting
fair question?
fired, then once they start getting fired, I guess I'll know their
We're
name.
not. Oh, exactly.
Just listen to this man talk on the
Thank you.
screen, the guy with the hat that talked on the screen that said, I can't do anything because the swamp runs too
John Gross.
yes, thank you. The swamp runs too deep. I can't do anything here, so I have to quit. And everybody's like, yeah, good. And then Linda's like, well, what are their names, Josie? Like, are you kidding me?
No, I'm
That's
not
your
kidding you. It's a debate. You don't know how to debate, then why did you bring her?
Oh,
You can't ask anything.
Also, all of the big media, they are, I don't know, they're the swamp. How about Hollywood? They're the swamp. How about the pedophiles that are running our country? They are corrupt. What about just the the Clintons in the Epstein files. You can arrest that. What about the quote stolen election? What about the Russia hoax? What about USS Liberty where Israelis bombed us? We got plenty of corruption we can go after right now. Epstein files, Diddy files, which it looks like Diddy's actually going to getting released next year because they don't want to release those files as well because that means the military, cops, sadly, and high-profile politicians are involved with Diddy as well. And I'm sorry, but it is the truth.
Can I make one point? I asked her a question and she gets mad about it. She could have just said, hey, stupid bitch. It's what she said on the fucking screen. Just fucking say that. I won't. Just fucking say that. But she comes back. Then she comes back to me like,
good. We're so close
what the
to the end.
fuck are the names? What
It's
the
horrible.
fuck? I just ask her a question.
Calm down.
I don't have to fucking calm down. I don't have to fucking calm down. I don't have to calm down.
close to the end.
I don't have to calm down.
Wait, you're being irrational.
I asked you a question.
You're being
You could have said
emotional.
about it. I asked you a question. You could have literally said, I don't know their names.
Okay, Gavin, what are their names? What are the names of the swamp? What's the names of the deep state? What are the names of the
I'm asking you. You're
Oh
the one that
my,
wants
that's
to know.
nice.
I'm asking you who should be out.
She
I'm asking you.
Horrible.
No,
I
I
ghetto.
And you're a stupid bitch, actually, for that fucking matter.
All right. Would crash and there would
The insurance company does not
skip that. I
decide
don't care
what
to hear
your
her
car
speak.
accident claim is worth. The evidence does, and they are counting on you not knowing the difference. Here's how it works. Adjusters are trained.
be mass famine. So let's kind of level reset that. Just like a lot of people are saying, this is going to go well. There's also a lot of people that are just saying the most absurd thing.
But hold on a second. Gas prices did go up.
1 second.
No, but gas prices did go up, and they're buying oil in the yuan now. So these things did happen.
Okay, Owen.
We'll skip the oil.
They have completely converted to you.
Israel and the
like
foreign.
the other side. 'Cause I
Israel
really
talk.
I
fucking
think
hate
it's messed
that.
up when you wear an IDF suit or a IDF uniform onto congressional floor. You couldn't do that with another country. And it's messed up when you wave the Ukraine flag.
Thank you. Yes.
It's all messed up.
When Israel was founded, they were not supported by America. It wasn't until the '67 war that they actually became, like, Israel and America became allies. AIPAC wasn't even a lobbying firm until I think like.
Well, they were the
until-
Zionist
Dude,
America.
Let me
something.
finish.
Well, you're just wrong.
Was AIPAC a lobbying
Love
firm until
Schroyer.
2018 or not?
They were registered as the Zionist Western Coalition or something. Do you remember what the name was?
I
They
can't
just
remember.
renamed
No, it
themselves.
wasn't.
It's like what AIPAC is doing right now.
No, it
now
wasn't.
they're the Washington, D.C.
AIPAC was a lobbying firm. It did not donate directly to political campaigns. You don't know what you're talking about.
So yes, it
So
was
let me
the
go back to my
Zionist
point.
Coalition or
keeps
something,
saying,
and then
but
it's
he
AIPAC,
offers
and now
nothing.
it's something else because they're always unpopular.
Okay, before October 7th, before 2 years ago, the overwhelming number of Americans, specifically Republicans, very much overwhelmingly supported Israel, and therefore,
Yeah, me too. Until I actually went down the rabbit hole of how dark and satanic that country, or not the country, the government is.
it would be logical
Synagogue of
conclusion
Satan.
to be like, yeah, the elected officials similarly
Right.
support Israel. In terms of I know for a fact Nancy Pelosi has never said that. If someone has said that, that's fucking weird, and that should not be happening.
I've covered these I covered these
She
on my
has to.
show for a week straight
Yeah.
because it was top Republicans, top Democrats, and I was like, I just want to know, unless you are taking money or have some weird interest, why you would ever say that, and you should never represent Americans if you value any other country and their lives. And every time a clip of Netanyahu comes out, and it's like, one Israeli's life is worth like 1,000 Americans, and every single time people go, that's not what he said, Emily. That's not what he said. You translate it wrong. That's clipped. I'm like, how the fuck is it this one topic I'm always fucking wrong about? No, America should be your priority.
That's
and you
what they do. What they'll do is they take one 5-second clip of you saying something that sounds different, but not include the full context of it, and then make people believe that they're like anti-Semitic or crazy or Jew hatred, when in reality we're talking about the government of Israel. But they won't post the whole clip in its entirety, and that's why people have gotten so, I don't even know how you explain it, just crazy on the deep end on both sides.
represent us.
Wait. First of all, I fully agree. There's no argument coming from me. In terms of misclipping and lies, it's also that you don't think there's a massive apparatus coming from
I agree.
coming from the Muslim Brotherhood and Antifa to intentionally. I mean,
I agree with what you're saying. I just want to say, why would
all
a
funded,
politician go up
all funded by the Israel lobby and George Soros, and no one will be arrested.
say something
I
as
agree.
fucking
I
crazy
agree,
as that?
but
We
there's no
should just
argument.
all die so they can thrive? What the fuck? No, fuck that. That's not like America first.
I want to get this back to the question that you asked, because I think that we'll debate foreign policy forever.
Right.
I mean, this is how it's always going to be with foreign policy. And so I think that the frustration that I have, and I understand that not everybody's going to see eye to eye with me, not everybody's going to have the same priorities as me, But the issue, like, again, the whole purpose of Trump, I thought, was to prioritize America's issues first. And so we can debate, oh, well, this foreign policy is. But until I'm not paying 33% of the money I make in taxes, until a product that's produced and then reaches the consumer and the 5 to 6 transactions that take place are all taxed, like, until this stops, until I'm done being robbed by my government, I don't want to hear about another fucking foreign country. I'm sick and damn tired of it. My country is being looted. My people are being looted. Fix that issue, and then you can do whatever the hell you want on the rest of the planet. Until that issue is fixed, I'm not going to sit here and let the same neocon foreign policy dictate what being a conservative is.
So, Owen, you don't want any U.S. money going to any foreign country until your money is not being wasted by your government.
Well, I would say, I would actually just, you can put the first statement alone.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't want any U.S. money going to any foreign country, period.
Right.
But no, when we hear about tax cuts, it's all BS. There's no tax cuts. You'll get what? You got an extra couple $100 if you're an average American in your tax return. That's not going to pay your bills. That's like maybe.
And it's crazy because the Jewish people I talk to actually are very against what Israel is doing, which is, bombing more than one country. Lebanon is like the new one, and it's so sad how they're just taking out like old, like cities that are like very Christian areas, and they have nothing to do with the war. They're like their mothers, their children, their schools as well. And I mean, this administration still has never admitted, but they bombed a school in Iran, killing over 150 school kids, and they're still covering it up. That's it. That is unacceptable. This was all avoidable, all of it.
Month worth
There
of
are
groceries.
plenty of Americans on TikTok talking about how much money they got under taxes this year. The people.
So now the internet is reality.
People
Okay.
no tax. Oh no, you're so right. You're so right.
That's what you're.
Average Americans who are saying I did better. Friends of mine, including in the industry, in the entertainment, not in the entertainment, sorry, hospitality industry, who say I got more money back this year because of the no tax on tips, etc. They're wrong.
I'll tell you.
Okay, so because the no tax on tips, that means this is a great economy. That's her requirements for a great economy. People are saying they got more money for no tax on tips. Got me joking.
I'll tell you this, based off math, the
debating.
inflation way exceeded any tax cuts we got. That's
and the cost per living. And here's the other issue.
Inflation during Biden.
Inflation's gone down.
9.1.
So the inflation can't.
They're at 3.3 right now.
No, it's terrible then, and it's terrible now.
We just came out of a global pandemic, which was going to increase inflation no matter what. Number one. Number two, if you compare America's inflation,
that's number one is just wrong.
Inflation
it's
went down.
100% right.
You lock down the global economy, it doesn't create inflation, dude.
No,
and that's not how
COVID created inflation.
Inflation is money printing.
You don't think COVID created
inflation is money printing? My God, man.
The $1,000 that were handed out to America.
No, it wasn't just that.
Oh, and I wanted to get to your point because I want to understand like what it, and I don't think you're making a point that people would disagree with.
I
you're
think we
saying
would all
is,
agree, yeah.
I think what you're saying is I don't want our money going anywhere else. I want us taking care of it. That's America first, right? So my question for you, and it's a follow-up, and it's a legitimate question. It's not. I'm not being combative. When is it okay, in protection of America, to then pay, and then instead of putting American troops anywhere, because you don't want American bases, you want American troops home, you don't want any foreign wars, you don't want us funding in other countries. At what point is the interest of America necessitate then giving another country money to fight, so we don't have to?
Maybe.
We already are fighting, though. There's 13 soldiers have died, may they rest in peace, for this war already.
I don't think we exist in that time. And, unfortunately, probably for everybody in this room, we've never even gotten a chance to experience that. For probably everybody in this room today.
Hi, hello. I'm Marty Taxwell, and my 5-volume series can help you unlock your hidden tax.
We have been spending hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars overseas. And we've had to sit here and watch these Gulf nation deserts go from desert nothing lands into sprawling metropolises while our
Yeah, it's crazy what's happened to Gaza. They have literally just demolished everything that used to be there. It's so sad. The videos I've seen of what's happening out there is just so sad.
Society crumbles, and it shouldn't be that way. Our society should be thriving. America should be thriving. So to me, it's like, look, when we have a situation economically in this country right now, which is the truth, the average American is living paycheck to paycheck.
Yep.
They are grinding paycheck
Barely
to
getting
paycheck.
by.
It's hard to get savings, vacation times, all of this stuff is down. We need to have the American dream back. We need Americans to have an ability to own a home, a car, get into the asset
Yes.
class, not get crushed by regulations,
Yes.
not get crushed
Preach.
by taxes. And unfortunately, until that happens, all of this other debate that we're doing, our country's going to continue to crumble.
So let me ask, because I think what you're saying resonates with a lot of people at home trying to buy a house, trying to buy a car, trying to save money when they can, trying to pay their electricity bill, which keeps going up. I think that's all legitimate. But pointing to Trump's record, and Gavin said,
"Oh, we're looking for multiple of those." Kate Love 12, yeah, definitely can't they deny? Yeah, it's so crazy because they'll bring up World War II 24/7 and talk about how there was genocide during World War II, but they will overlook all other genocide in regards to what Israel and America has done since the Iraq War. It's a crazy double standard.
earlier, why aren't we talking about the good things? To point to Trump's record, he's onshored a lot more American jobs. I know the H-1B thing is still a thing. We're dealing with it. I get it. But he's onshored a lot of American jobs. He's trying to ramp up production. If we not only become energy independent, but through this gamble, if we become a major exporter of oil,
shit's very expensive right now. Oil and gas. I'm in Cali, and I actually, before I met my girlfriend, I was actually living at my parents too. My sister just moved back to her parents. Everyone I know is pretty much living at their parents. If you don't have a ballin' ass job, or if you're not rich, or you don't have, 2 to 3 to 4 incomes in a household, you are struggling right now. Shit is expensive. It's pretty much very difficult to get by right now, and nothing has gotten cheaper. The whole time Trump's been in, nothing has gotten cheaper. Everything has continued to increase. Every time I go to the store, I feel like I'm spending more, but I'm getting less. And this administration will act like we're like in the best economy in history. It's such a middle finger to people who are free thinkers.
those Saudi waste or those Middle East wastelands that we're rich now, we get to be that rich. The other side of that
I
is
hope so.
by replacing the chair of the Fed. May 15th, we have a new Fed chair coming in that's pledged to lower interest rates, which would make borrowing the money to buy a home more affordable. So I think there are things that Trump is doing to help answer the affordability. There is short-term pain. And we saw this with the tariffs too. But I believe unless we change something radically, because what you're saying is true, a lot of people, no matter who's been the president, are.
I'll just say that I work for Amazon and I've been doing it for years, and they don't pay the best at all, actually, and they don't really take care of their supplies or the stuff that they give to their workers, phones, chargers, bricks. None of it works. The vehicles don't run properly, like they shake a lot, and the pay isn't good. UPS pays good. I believe they pay like 41, but even when you're earning that, it's still hard to get by. Times are tough right now. People are struggling more than we ever have, and now they're going to try this fake alien invasion on us to divide us so we don't unite against the system. That's my opinion.
Lives stay the same shitty. It doesn't matter if it's a Republican or Democrat. Nothing ever changes. We go to war. We don't go to war. We give foreign countries money. We don't. It's still just this yin and yang of America's getting screwed, right? I do believe Trump is doing more now to combat that, and he's doing it in spite of a lot of odds. And I do believe, and this is my personal belief, and maybe I'm wrong, that if we just give Trump Congress in November, that we can probably
that doesn't
get
work
closer to
anymore.
that America that you're envisioning. But I worry, but where I sit is what I worry about is that all of this infighting that we're doing, which I think is healthy, is inevitably going to affect the people that listen to us to the point where they're like, nope, Trump didn't give me anything. And as a result, we get nothing. And so I think
But
we're
you
on
can't
track.
ask us to lie.
Yeah, we're not going to lie.
I'm an isolationist, just like you, but I also want us to blow some shit up once in a while. It's like the prison yard. You go and you knock out a dude once a month, and then you go back to your cell.
We're not criminals, are we?
Yes, and we're in
There's a
competition
problem.
like a prison. The world is a prison. And if you go there, do some shock and awe, blow up some shit, and then go back, then China, then Russia, then Islam learns that you can.
By the way, China's supposed to be this horrible, corrupt CCP country with no rights. Have you seen how it looks lately? They're like something out of the Matrix. So futuristic. Everyone's inventing stuff in China. China is running the show and kicking our ass without a single shot. That's how we could be doing in America if we actually, put our taxes and our resources into our own country and fixing it. But our establishment hacks don't want it to. This is all on purpose. While China's kicking our ass, we are pretty much just kicking our own asses. Our government is, at least.
Up everyone and kill everyone if you want, but you won't. So not everything has to be a quagmire. We lost 15 dudes. If we get out of there, it's a win-win.
We've been at war every year of my adult life, and you're saying just sometimes I'm a non-interventionist, I'm an isolationist, but sometimes
Yeah, I don't want quagmires, but I'm saying there's another option outside of nothing and quagmire, and it's called shock and awe. Boom.
Just blowing shit up doesn't actually create the end goal that you're claiming.
Just wanted to respond to David real quick. It does feel like the Senate is there to maintain the status quo. Like they're not passing the SAVE Act, even though 80% of the country wants it. But then at the same time, they're like, we got to push through this clean FISA bill.
I agree with you.
And at the same time, it's like, what is
And Trump backed that, by the way.
is warrants? Yeah, and the thing that was used against him, which was shocking to me.
Because he's a fucking sellout.
So are they saying that warrants are a dirty FISA bill?
I'm sorry, I got so distracted. What was the last question?
Are they saying warrants? They want to push through a clean FISA bill.
Yeah.
So are warrants?
I don't like FISA, and I agree with Anna Paulina Luna that I don't think FISA should have been reauthorized without.
And the fact that Trump's allowing data centers to even be a thing of discussion in America right now and doing nothing to stop it, or how about installing AI? As we know, Peter Thiel, the Antichrist, as some people call him, he just moved to a different country. Why is that all of a sudden? He actually has literally come out in an interview and said because he's scared of the direction that America is going towards. So we have the Trump family buying a huge island in Albania with underground bunkers. We have all the elites buying underground bunkers right now. We have the Antichrist who's in charge of AI literally moving, saying he's scared of where America's headed towards. And we're in war. So it doesn't look good for America right now.
Requirement.
Then why did Trump back it?
Because the reality is FISA also has a very important role into stopping attacks on the U.S. And when we're at, you can call it a war or a military engagement with Iran, and there are terror cells in the United States, whether they are or not. FISA is a very important tool that our intelligence communities have used, and they've told the president, we need this ability. And so what we don't want to do, because the FISA authorization ends, and we're in the middle of operations that is using the FISA authorization. So you need a bridge to not make us vulnerable at a time when we're in a military conflict.
You're
with a terror
met
nation.
Anna Paulina
That's the
Luna?
reality. Yeah. What?
It's hot. Like way hotter in real life.
I'll be brief.
Like twice as hot.
Okay. I want to do a closing final segment with you guys, just very quickly. Before we do, I'm not going to force anyone to do anything. Do you want to address what happened between you two?
What?
Well, just it got really personal. I mean, do
I asked her a question.
you called her a
didn't like
bitch, and it got pretty. You don't have to. If you don't want. You guys,
Members,
Don't tell me to shut up.
problem with the other side. I want.
I run a podcast solo. No
let's
producer,
get
no
our ending
editor, no
statements.
tech skills, just Riverside.
Everyone to take 1 minute each to say something that you admire and respect about the other side. Because the whole point of this conversation tonight is to see if we can.
I don't respect anything about the Make Israel Great Again side. That's what I'm going to say. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know it was a longer one than the normal. Also, hats available, blackpillmerch.etsy.com. If you are from X, Instagram, or YouTube, please subscribe to all 3 channels. JB Reacts 916. My YouTube is, I'd say, the least growing, but Instagram has been very good lately. Very good to me. But I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Peace out.